Hello, my friends. This is Carrie welcoming you to the Post-Eclipse episode of Collective Awakening Weekly. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the astrological cycles of power that are shining in this week, supporting our collective journeys and spiritual awakening, healing, empowerment, and dare I say, mastery of awareness. Let's go ahead and dive in. Welcome back, friends. So we actually have an exciting week ahead, astrologically speaking. The energies that are showing up this week are really supporting us in having a much needed period of integration as we're coming out on the other side of the solar and lunar eclipses that we've had going on over the past few weeks. I'm going to start by mentioning here on a broad stroke level that as I'm looking at the astrological aspects that are happening this week, there's definitely a big Gemini and Aries energy signature going on. Gemini is an air sign, Aries is a fire sign, and what do we get when we mix air with fire? We get expansion. It could also be explosion type of energy as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the episode. But before I delve into the details of how this Gemini and Aries energy is showing up, the main thing that we have going on this week, actually today, and influencing us throughout the entire week, is we have an exact conjunction or alignment between Mars and Neptune, both in the sign of Pisces. Now, Mars is the planet of action, motivation, passion, while Neptune is the planet of dreams, imagination, intuition, the unseen realms of life. The conjunction between both of these planets in the sign of Pisces right now ultimately are supporting us in transcending illusionary energies on one level, and also empowering, nurturing dedication towards whatever our biggest goals and dreams are right now. Now, the reason I say this is because with every planet, with every sign, with every asteroid, and all the symbolisms that are assigned to these things, we always have the higher frequency or octave of expression and the lower, which can be seen as the challenge aspect as well. So the challenge aspect of Pisces energy is that we can see the world through rose-colored glasses. We don't always see things as they are. This can be connected to our perceptions of situations, people, circumstances happening in our environment. It can also be in connection to what our goals and dreams are. We can have unrealistic expectations or lofty ideas that aren't necessarily grounded in reality at times. So that's the challenge aspect of the Pisces energy. However, the empowering aspect is that this is a time where we can actually sort through what some of those illusionary energies have been, and we can restore clarity and empowerment to what our actual tangible goals and dreams are. Now, the reason I want to bring this up is, for one, this aspect is happening today and will be influencing us all week, but it's also connected to this Gemini Aries theme that I'm seeing as being spotlighted as well, in the way that the Aries energy, and I'll share the details of this in a minute, but the Aries energy is really inspiring and motivating us to take action, while the Gemini energy supports enthusiasm, playfulness, curiosity, and utilizing the power of our intelligence in the direction of what our enthusiasms are. So let's go ahead and start getting into the details of this here. So tomorrow, May 19th, Mercury, which is now retrograde in the sign of Gemini, is making a sextile aspect or angle to Jupiter, which is in Aries. This aspect supports us in the direction of bringing more clarity to future goals. Now, again, Mercury is retrograde, so it's more about revisiting, reconsidering on the inner planes as opposed to external action right now. But I really want to talk about the bigger significance on the larger cycle that's happening with Jupiter right now. If you remember back a few weeks ago, I talked about how Jupiter had just gone into the sign of Aries on May 10th. So Jupiter is a planet that's connected to good fortune, expansion, growth. It brings expansion, enthusiasm, optimism, positive energy to anything it touches. And in Aries right now, the Aries energy really gives us a deep sense of drive and commitment to what our deeper passions are. So Jupiter is going to be in the sign of Aries all the way through the end of October until it retrogrades for a short period of time back into the sign of Pisces, which it's been in most of the year up till now. And then it will go back into the sign of Aries again on December 20th. So we have several months from now and looking forward ahead to the next several months now through the end of October, where we have this window of expanded, enthusiastic, opportunistic energy to harness the power of. This is one of the energies that's connected to this new energetic attunement that we're shifting into as we're integrating through this eclipse energy. Now we're moving into action-oriented energy, and that time is not exactly right now, but as we're coming into the end of this week and over the course of the next few weeks, the astrological energies are dialing in and shifting in ways that are supporting more and more of a forward movement, expanded oriented, action oriented energy. So we can begin attuning and aligning with that energy right now as we're still navigating through some of this Piscean energy to really fine tune our sense of what we really choose to be committed to, harnessing, embodying, actualizing, empowering, and or manifesting as we're progressing through the year. Now, if we look at the larger cycles of power that are playing out right now, we are more than halfway through spring, bordering into summer. So shamanically speaking, spring is the time where we plant new seeds with our thoughts and our intentions. Now, we've already done that, and as we're moving towards summertime, those intention seeds that we've already established are sprouting, taking root, blooming, growing. And now, as we're coming into summertime, we want to be in the mindset of tending the garden. If any of you out there have watched some of my previous videos, you already know what I mean by this, but I'm going to just give a little short explanation. Tending the garden is feeding the garden of your intentions with positive energies, positive frequencies, and thoughts, while we weed the garden of negative thoughts that might be counterproductive or contrary to the growth that we're intending. So that's where we're at in the wheel of the year on a larger scale level. And now some of these energies that are shifting astrologically are bringing us into that next phase of expression, expansion, and growth with the intentions that we set for ourselves at the beginning of spring. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is that we're also moving into Gemini season. The sun moves into Gemini on May 20th. This brings us all into a refreshing energy of exuberance, playfulness, an urge to be more social, a desire to experience engaging connections and conversation with people, as we also feel inspired to stimulate the mind. Even with Mercury retrograde right now, with some of these other Gemini energies showing up, we're definitely all going to be feeling an inward compelling to feed and nurture whatever our growth-oriented goals are this year with clarity of intention, clarity of creative ideas and insights that we can ultimately take action on as the energy's dialing in and lining up for that around the corner. Speaking of that, on May 22nd, Mercury in Gemini right now moves into the sign of Taurus, which offers us a grounded, methodical approach to what some of our lofty ideas have been. So this is also a part of that integrative, energetic phase that we're in right now, where we're really dialing in and reattuning our energy fields in alignment with that which we're inspired towards at this time in our lives, now that we're on the other side of these eclipses. Also on May 22nd, we have the last quarter moon happening in the sign of Pisces. When the moon is in Pisces, it typically makes us feel a little bit more in tune with our sensing feeling bodies, a little bit more in tune with our intuition, and a little bit more in tune with our creative ideas and impulses. So to me, it really feels like the Pisces energy that we have going on this week is tapping us into the vaster realms of our creative imagination, while the Gemini energy is supporting deeper awareness and clarity on mental planes. And the Aries energy is really motivating a purpose-driven ambition for growth, expansion, and or manifestation of our goals. In fact, on the 23rd, we have the sun, which will be in Gemini by then, making a sextile aspect to Jupiter in Aries. So again, we have this exuberant Gemini energy positively interacting with Jupiter in Aries, which also is expansion. So creative ideas are very much highlighted this week, both on mental levels and more right-brained creative imagination levels. And the Aries energy that's coming up again is really inspiring purpose-driven motivation. And the last thing I'm going to talk about astrologically today, which is happening on May 24th, is a big one, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it next week. Mars moving into the sign of Aries. It's in Pisces right now. In fact, if you think back to the beginning of the episode, we talked about how we have that Mars-Neptune conjunction happening today that's affecting us all week until Mars moves into Aries on the 24th. Mars is at home in Aries. Mars is the ruling planet of Aries. And one of the effects that it's going to have on us collectively is that we've been sort of cosmically forced to be in a little bit of a Zen mode while Mars has been in Pisces. Mars in Pisces is more of a yogic, meditative approach to life, while Mars in Aries is full-blown ready to leap into passionate action. Let's go ahead and take a look here in the cards and gain some additional insights and sacred wisdom teachings around how to harness the power of these energies that are showing up this week. So let me just take a moment here. I'm working with my Osho Zen Tarot today, one of my favorite decks. And let me just give these a few more shuffles here. And the first card that I'm going to be working with here today is representing the energy around whatever new dreams are showing up for us collectively and then individually speaking. Let's take a look. What new dreams are coming into view for me now? Or what's the energy around the new dreams that are coming into view now for us all? And let me go ahead and just spread these out here and select a card. Rebirth. Perfect. So taking a look at the symbolism here, let's start on the big picture and notice that first it's assigned to the number 10, which, as I've mentioned before, 10 is sort of like an integrative energy. It marks the in-between integrative phase that happens while we're bringing one cycle of experience of our life to completion and we're entering into a new cycle of experience. And that's exactly what's happening this week. At the bottom of the card, you can see more like grayish images, and it looks like the figure is standing on top of a llama or a camel, which feels to be representing a phase of life that this figure is ready to transcend because they're hovering above it. That transcendent energy is very connected to the Mars and Neptune conjunction that we have going on today. We're transcending old illusions. We're transcending old stagnant energy. We're transcending challenges, perhaps, and we're rising into attunement, high vibration frequency. So the figure in the card here is playing a flute, if you can see that. So there's the energy here of creativity, musicality, playfulness. The colors are orange and gold, which are the second chakra and the third chakra. Second chakra, creativity, emotional well-being. Third chakra, confidence, certainty, exuberance, in alignment with what our enthusiasms are. And then there's a lion here that seems to be playfully almost dancing with the flute music that's being played. So again, playfulness with the action that the lion is doing. Lions represent big-heartedness. They represent inner strength, compassion, and courageousness. On personal levels, for all of us, we seem to be getting the message to embrace our courageousness, embrace our creative impulses, our creative inspirations, to be in the energy of our exuberance, our playfulness, our certainty, embracing the energy of the new dreams that are coming into view as old dear friends that we haven't seen for a long time, and we're greeting gladly, with gladness in our hearts. Do we open and embrace the new? That's exactly what's channeling in. So it's about the vibrational frequency that we're in. We can't manifest our dreams when we're in ghost town down here, right? When we're fearing the worst of them not manifesting, that's not going to manifest them. We have to be in these higher octaves or frequencies of vibration that I've just described. So let's take a look to see what's next. I'm going to work with 2 more cards here today. Let's take a look at how can I better attune to what I'm being guided to shift towards now. So let me just take a moment here and see what card wants to come up. It's the isolation card reversed. Hold on, a card just dropped. And I'm going to count this towards the 3rd card, which is harmony. So the isolation card in the right side up position, this has come up before at some point as I've worked with this deck here on these episodes. But this is literally, you know, you can see that there's a human figure that feels to be frozen in ice, and then the person is crying tears that are melting the ice. So how can I better attune to what I'm being guided to shift into or towards now? It feels like being in your energetic warmth, literally coming back out into participation and connection with life, Now, this could be a residual effect of everything that we've experienced with COVID. And I know COVID is still happening. I know people who have it right now. We're not completely in the clear with the COVID pandemic, but we're also not completely in the clear with the residual fear that has come in with us being forced literally into isolation for like 2 years. We're being reminded that healthy lifestyles are connected to having healthy connections in life. And so a way for us to better attune to the directions we're feeling guided to in our life right now is getting back out into the world in whatever ways you feel safe with in your person, in your area. This card did come up reversed, which I feel it as being a letting go of any unconscious grip or resistance that we've had to getting back on track with a vibrant flow of life again. Many of us may have some grieving to heal with, and I'm saying that because of the tears in this card. Many of us may have some grieving that we need to heal based on what we experience as being losses during the period that we were all in extreme isolation. We've never seen anything like this. Never in our personal history have we had an experience where we've been forced into extreme isolation in life. And that's definitely gonna have residual layers of trauma on one level to work through. And so I feel like that's a part of it as well. Honoring what you need to do to heal whatever has arisen within you based on this isolation phase that we seem to be coming out of now. And then the last card that flipped out on its own, which I'm going to count as the third and final card, is the Harmony card. And this is revealing the actions that we can take to support the new momentums that we're shifting into now. So the actions that we can take are more internal right now, especially with Mercury retrograde. And it's about achieving an internal harmony between heart and mind, literally being in your flow state. Now, there's dolphins coming up in this card. So hold on, let me grab my animal speak and I'm going to take a look at what dolphin represents. Okay, I'm back. So let's see here. Dolphin, let me find it. Perfect, here we go. The power of breath and sound. The cycle of power for dolphin is year round. Let me see if I can just find a little blurb here. As some of you know, the author of this book, Ted Andrews, was one of my spiritual teachers back in the day. He passed on many years ago. I originally got this book from him when it first came out, and it's signed by him. And this is the beginning, when this book came out, was the beginning of my experience with him as a teacher of mine. Anyway, I've had this book since, looks like 1994, hence the duct tape binding here. So anyway, dolphin can show you how to enter into the waters of life and then with breath and sound to call forth from the waters what you most need or desire. And then it goes on to talking about specific breathing techniques. If dolphin has shown up as a totem, ask yourself some important questions. What are your words and thoughts creating for you? So this is very connected to the Mercury energy, the Gemini energy that we have going on right now. Are you getting outside and enjoying fresh air? We just talked about re-immersing with life, with engaging with social activities, positive community. When dolphin shows up, it's time to breathe in some new life into yourself, get out, play, explore, and most of all, breathe. So we can all see how this is really aligned with some of the astrological energies that are showing up right now. I really feel that this rebirth energy is an energy to harness, right? The exuberance, being in our exuberance, our playfulness, our creative joy, our creative passion and inspiration energy, and doing what we can do to unite mind, body, spirit. So mind, body, spirit, integrated oneness, harmony is what brings us into our flow state. And that's the state that we really need to consciously work on optimizing within ourselves this week in order to prepare for this new energetic momentum that's beginning to open up for us now, and again will be really activated on the next new moon. So stay tuned. That episode's coming up around the corner. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. I so appreciate your subscribes, your comments, your shares, your energetic support. All my love to you all. Blessings, namaste, and I'll see you around the corner in the next video.